Figured it was probably time to provide an update on the boat, latest projects, what we're doing here. Whoops. Today is January 2nd of 2020, second day of the new decade. And ultimately, what I'm trying to do is replace the cabin sole, which is like the floor, down in the galley and the dinette, and then through where the head and into the V berth. So it's the lower on this floor plan. It's the lower cabin sole, um, and I'll show you here what the problem is that I'm trying to solve. Turn my light on again. So this is the current bilge, and you can see that these are the stringers here that run fore and aft, and then laterally across from port to starboard. And then you can see that there's like the bilge itself down below that. So these stringers, currently, the way this works is you put these half-inch plywood sheets over the stringers and then slide them into place. And that pretty well, it works. The problem is that because of the finish work, like right here, and then in the doorway, for several of these, in order to get one out, you have to take 3 or 4 others out. So there's no real easy access. And then on top of that, this piece, these used to have a carpet over them, and then the ones that sit right at the foot of the galley had just a vinyl, like a laminate cover over the wood. So it was not carpeted. Was carpeted. Piece of carpet was removable, and it was kind of gnarly when I first got it. So I'm trying to solve 2 problems. One, obviously, that I don't think that these are super at half-inch. It's not very sturdy. They flex a little bit, and then the stringers are not perfectly level, which exacerbates it. So you step on it, and they kind of rock and wiggle a little bit. So what I'm trying to do here is build in a more secure floor that essentially will provide stability, easier access, and that I can put a nice looking floor, finished floor on top of, probably like a vinyl sheet over it. So what I'm doing is I'm installing these cleats. This is the first one that I've done. Essentially, this is just 3/4 inch plywood. I have it screwed and glued. It's glued against the stringer. And then it sits down. This is the same 3/4 inch plywood. It sits down so that a sheet of plywood will sit on top of this and sit flush to the top edge of these stringers. So once I have a flush sheet that covers each of these bilge bays, then I'm going to cut a center hole out of that flush sheet, and then I will install a single long piece, it'll probably actually be 2 pieces, that go from this bulkhead wall all the way forward to the V berth, and that'll sit on top, kind of the way these ones do now. It'll sit on top of that whole thing and provide essentially like an access cover into each of these lower bilge sections. But the overall finished product will be secure. It'll be stable. It will. I'll be able to put a nice vinyl finish floor over the whole thing, and just this whole lower area, I think, will feel more solid. And it'll be a little bit of an addition of weight, but really not that much. Maybe 100 pounds at the most, which I've already offset by removing some other tanks and such that I'm not going to be using. So that's where we stand on the project that we're working on today.